Lately, I have been asking myself as I've been editing images, is the keyboard and mouse the ideal solution for this? Is there an easier way that might make things more quick for me? I love having an end result that I'm proud of and I want to hang on my wall, but I want to spend more time capturing my images than I want to spend on editing them. So I need to be able to edit with precision because I'm particular, but also speed. Many of you do shoot raw, and the best way to get the most out of those raw images can be a series of adjustments, and those changes may differ from shot to shot. So an early morning or afternoon in a scenic location might have you dreading the editing hangover, where you want to maximize the beauty of those shots in Lightroom, Capture One, Photoshop, or any of the other editing tools out there. And if you're like me, you might delay editing those images forever. I have so many photos that you've never seen because I simply didn't want to spend the time to edit them. And that's just plain silly. So I've been trying to do better. As such, I have been wanting to improve my flow. And by that, I don't mean just my workflow. I mean like editing as a flow activity, like some music in my ears, some dim lighting in the room, and an enjoyable focus on the editing process. In fact, I've been doing a few simple things like that before and during the editing process to make it just more enjoyable and maybe even a little bit faster. A couple of weeks ago, I showed you a solution that augments your image editing with a new set of tangible controls beyond the keyboard and mouse. Today, I'm showing you another solution that I've been wanting to try, and I've been liking this as well. This is the palette. It's a set of modular editing tools that seek to minimize the distraction and interference between like here and here and here. I discussed this in my video a few weeks ago, but let me summarize in case you didn't see it. The problem with the traditional editing approach for me, let's take Lightroom for example, but it's really the same issue for me with all the software that I've used. The issue is that each slider or control in the software needs mouse input. And then you go to another slider and move it around. And even with keyboard shortcuts and customizing, every adjustment takes multiple mouse movements and clicks. Now, for one photo shoot or to edit every once in a while, this really isn't a big deal, but I take photos and or edit photos just about every day. So, sitting at my computer is not my favorite pastime. I actually find the editing process cumbersome and inefficient. And I can quickly end up deciding that I'm done with that image or that shoot and just move on to the next, maybe leaving a photo or a whole shoot before it's really where I want it because I just don't have the time or the patience to edit more. And don't get me wrong, I've been editing this way with a keyboard and mouse for years. And if we're talking about a paid gig, I can put my nose to the grindstone and deal with it. But, there are certainly worse problems in life. But for me to keep putting out new videos on different topics here on my channel consistently, I need to keep my creativity charged up. And sitting at my computer editing doesn't do that for me. So I have been enjoying trying out things like this palette to not only mix things up, but also find that lasting solution for my photo editing. On that note, let's take a closer look at palette. The first things that you may notice are the controls. They are very large and tactile. They're definitely well made, and the whole setup is modular and expandable. They do have 3 kits. This is the Expert kit, which is the middle size, but you can customize your own or build onto the kits however you want. And because each piece is separate and has magnets in it, you can rearrange the pieces however you want and then assign them however you want. That being said, one thing that I learned about palette is that it's not the size of the kit that entirely matters. The thought process behind palette is that you will use these controls in addition to the keyboard and mouse, not as an entire replacement. And this is super important. You not only set how each control behaves, you set different profiles for these sets of controls. So you can choose how each button, dial, or slider behaves, but each one can have multiple functions. And then you can save a set of functions as a profile. And then you can quickly jump between profiles depending on what stage of editing you're in, or however you want to organize it. Let me show you. There's an app, and Palette has some profiles for you to choose from. Like, here's a Lightroom culling profile. Let's add that. And then here's a develop profile. We'll add that one too. Now you see cycle profiles up here, and that means that if I bring Lightroom up and turn this dial, you see that I'm moving among the profiles that I have. And you can see it on the screen and on the palette itself. I can even rename the profiles or start from scratch and build my own. And you can see that this button here isn't assigned in this profile, so let's click on it to assign it. And there's a whole library of options to look through, but I like that I can also search. I like to copy and paste settings and be able to adjust from there, so I'll search for copy, and then I want to assign the button to copy before's settings to after, and then it's set. I could have even made the colored light a different color, and you know what else? I want to change these two white balance sliders to exposure and dehaze. Now, to use this a little bit. Last weekend, I took a day off from my channel, and by that, I mean I went to Wapatki National Monument to make some videos and take some pictures for my channel. It was a fun trip though. The weather was absolutely beautiful, and the desert sunlight was intense. So there were no clouds to diffuse the light. So I chose a couple of images here, and a little editing will hopefully help bring them to life. Now, I'm still figuring out how I want to configure my palette kit. I haven't found my magical set of adjustments yet, but I've been happy to just kind of modify the profiles that they already have for each situation that I'm in. I'm sure I'll fall into a routine and find the right set of controls to make things the most efficient, but I really like that I can add profiles and change them at will. I'm not losing any of my old profiles, so there's no harm in experimenting. So overall, my impression is that Palette is all about you and how you want to use it. So as a result, you do have to put in a little bit of time to customize it for your workflow. I'm definitely incorporating it into my own workflow. And like I said before, I'm still figuring out how to best use it for the different types of work that I do. I initially thought I would actually want to add some additional buttons and knobs, but now I'm not so sure. I actually think that I like the more minimal form factor and really utilizing those profiles. And you know what? If you'd be interested in seeing more about it, like, I don't know, comparison with the other solution I have, like which one might be right for you, some pros and cons now that I've used both, or maybe a more in-depth tutorial on this guy, I guess I could let you know how I even set it up once I settle on a configuration. There are definitely things that I didn't even show you in this video. There are a ton of options. So yeah, let me know in the comments below if you want to know more and what you want to know. And if this is something that you'd be interested in or you want to know about right now, there is an Amazon link in the description of this video. I am an Amazon affiliate, so even if you use the link below to navigate around on Amazon and end up buying toilet paper, you are still helping my site. So thank you to those of you that use those links. And you know what else? Before I let you go, do you listen to music when you edit? I mentioned that I've been doing that more lately. What do you listen to? I listen to like everything. It just depends on my mood. So let me know down in the comments below. And thanks for watching, everyone. I will talk to you again soon.